Well, they scheduled the one.
Yeah, the one by 80.
When did Bridge look at that?
Mason Avenue.
The one that we first talked about a long time ago? That's close to.
Yeah, the one that's across the street from the park.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, but it's gonna open.
by the school, 89.
It's recording, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so today is December 11th, 2023. This is the December meeting of the Bronx CB11 Economic Development Committee. The time is 7:07. My name is Veronica Castro. I am the chair.
Joanne Rubino, co-chair.
Mariel Hawken, member.
Edward Perez, member.
Harry Santiago, member?
Okay, and we have Edgar on WebEx, who is also a member of the committee. I don't think we have any other members on WebEx. Okay,
Cynthia.
so Cynthia's not part of the committee though.
Oh, if you want.
No. So at this point in time at the meeting, I'll wait, we are about to have a forum.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we have a forum.
Yes.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, Sigal.
I am Miguel Dyer and wait.
Okay. So we now have a forum, so that's awesome. So we don't have the meetings yet published, so we're not gonna vote on meetings today, so apologies for that. We're gonna start with the liquor licenses. The first liquor license up is Misto Bar and Grill located at 2314 East Chester Road. Do we have anyone here from that location? Okay, that's a renewal license. Chris said that 49 has no issues with that particular location. I don't know. I haven't heard of any issues on that location myself. I don't know if anybody.
I've driven by several times. It's so
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah, it's very quiet
Yeah,
there.
it is. I live by this sign.
Okay, so again, we're gonna do the motions after the gallery session. But does anybody have any discussion they want other than what we just did for Misto? Any objections to any, okay, so we'll leave,
Veronica, I'm sorry.
yes.
The only thing that also they're asking about waiving the 30-day.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's right, they did have the letter. Here it is. So the letter says, "Dear Community Board, enclosed herewith is a 30-day notice to the municipality for the above-mentioned Misto Food Services LLC, part of the New York State Liquor Authority application for a liquor license to renew this license. The restaurant has been operating for 2 years without incident. We respectfully request information regarding any documents or applications that your board would need to review, and if there will be a board meeting that the applicant will need to attend. If you have any questions or need any information." So this is just them sending it in. They sent something different.
No, they requested because they came presently in the office.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, Jeremy was present over there and since he was the district manager, requested if we can waive the 30-day notice. Because as you can see, it expires in the beginning of January.
So what, so help me and the committee understand, what do they mean by waiving the 30-day notice? We're gonna review it and
Yeah,
send the
waiving the
letter.
30-day notice meaning that we are allowing them to put it before the 30-day notification to the local governmental office, which is us, because they brought it in on December 4th, I think we stamped it.
Yeah, it stamps December 4th.
Yeah, but they expires by end of, if I'm not wrong, end of December.
So their license expires this month.
Oh. Okay, so then we just have to, if we vote to,
Waive the 30-day notice, then
waive
they
it,
can
then
put
we
it.
put that in the
Yeah.
notice to SLA, okay.
Then,
so let's
then
make
they're gonna get a fine on that matter, that's why.
Okay. Let me just make a note when we do the motion. Okay. So next up, we have Michelangelo's Wood Fire Pizza and Pasta. Do we have anyone from that location? Okay. So, Chris, that location also didn't, there's been no issues from the 4-9 with that location, right?
No, even though they considered a new one, they didn't have any issues over there.
Okay, so yeah, so this place we've gone by, we've passed it, that's located next to the block before Liberty Diner.
Right.
They're really quiet. They're all,
Yeah,
they
quiet.
seem really good. Does anybody on the committee know of any issues with that location?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we'll wait to hear from the gallery. Yes,
That's a change of ownership. The new owner,
the new owner for the location.
yes, that's why.
Yeah, it's marked as new.
Was Bridge before,
Oh,
changed to Michelangelo's.
that's
Okay.
quick.
Jeremy, Chris, I noticed that there's nothing on here listed for what kind of licenses they're going for.
It's right in there. Look at the license,
The applications
the
themselves.
application, it's up, it's right in there. It says liquor, cider. So I think it's full liquor.
This is. Good, my land use though.
We didn't want to let them,
Bolton.
yes, they want cider. and-
Okay. Okay, and for Mistos, it's the same thing? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
So,
A review renewal.
the renewal, yeah. Yeah, liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So, anything else about Michelangelo's? So we have a new owner. Okay, and we'll see if anybody else in the gallery, when we get to gallery, has anything to say about these two locations. Now, we're gonna move on to the cannabis license applications. So the first one is Purple Cake located at 1927 Williamsbridge Road. Do we have anyone here for that location? Purple Cake, nobody? Okay,
I'm sorry.
I don't know, it's okay. Don't even worry about it. I thought it was just.
now, and anyone on the committee can disagree with me, but if they're not here to speak and to answer our questions, I think this is something that should probably end up being tabled.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
it's understood that the owner of the property is in talks with a different client and does not want to have a cannabis store there. I personally called the number on the phone on the building and said that I wanted to open up a cannabis place, and the guy says, I'm not renting the cannabis.
okay,
Okay, and like I said, I spoke to somebody who's in contract that I'm not able to divulge who it is, that is not a cannabis store who was looking at that site.
okay,
Yeah, but unless we got it in writing. It's
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I
we'll see
suggest-
table it anyway, they're not here.
I'll wait for the gallery session.
We're gonna table that, more than likely, we'll make a motion on that again after the gallery. But if they're not here, they can't answer our questions and we can't make an informed decision on it. Okay, next up. Creative Balance Group for 1402 Blondell Avenue. Do we have anyone here for there?
Yes.
Hi, would you mind coming and sitting with us? So I passed by 1402 Blondell and I know there's nothing, it doesn't look like there's anything happening there at the moment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so do you have any other locations that you currently have that are legal or illegal? Smoke shops?
Smoke shops? No,
None?
none.
Okay. And why don't you introduce yourselves? I'm sorry, I should have done that first.
My name is Joel Joseph. I'm the owner of Creative Balance Group LLC.
Okay,
And I'm Dalton Bennett, I'm counsel for Creative Balance Group.
nice to meet you both. Thank you for coming today. Let me start with the committee. Does the committee have any questions for this particular location? Ed?
I see you look like you came prepared and stuff. Did you come with anything that you were willing to share with the board?
Any questions that you may have regarding the space, the number of employees expected, or
Let's,
do you need any little background of myself?
yeah, let's start with the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I was born and raised in the Bronx. Not particularly, not particularly from Blondell area. I grew up on Kingsbridge, but I have family in Parkchester. I've been around the area for years. And I have been you know, not to say a victim, but I have endured the war on drugs in regards to marijuana. And now I see that I have the opportunity to adjust my situation and make a future in cannabis retail, dispensary management. And I would look to put my best foot forward in putting a business, marijuana retail business in that area and basically give back to the community at the same time.
Okay.
When you filled out, or have you filled out already a true parties of interest disclosure?
No, the true party interest disclosure form hasn't been completed
Not
yet.
yet. Will you be the only one on there, or will there be additional individuals that you have to disclose?
It would be me.
Okay. How are you gonna train the staff to deal with, let's say, challenging customer interactions like refusal of service?
Refusal of service, that would depend on, the client. What was the issue that arose for me to refuse the,
Let's say it was a minor.
if it was a minor, I mean, it would be against the law for me to sell to a minor.
Okay.
And that issue would be moved. But in other instances, depending on certain people's characteristics, it all depends on if it's legal for me to sell to that person. I would have to know that person's age, and if it's legal for me to sell to them, I would.
So will there be some sort of, because you might not be at the business every single day, right? You're probably gonna have a staff there. Is there gonna be some sort of training regimen or program?
Absolutely. I mean, according to the regulations, there's 2 training programs that have to be offered by the OCM that all employees are required to receive. And then they're also required to receive an additional 2 hours of training and employee handbook, which all that stuff will be provided to them. They'll be fully aware of the regs. I mean, anyone under 21 won't even have access to the location.
And you guys already have a lease signed for this location and everything, right?
We do.
Yes.
Okay. What's your timeline looking like right now for your application process? Where are you guys?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like where are you in the process of
The
application?
application submitted.
That's it. And then the state approved the location that you guys have chosen?
The state hasn't approved it. We still.
Okay,
Pending.
all right,
Still pending.
okay. I mean, that's it for my questions.
How about security? You gonna have security on site?
Definitely.
So in other words, how does this work? When somebody comes to the front door, the security checks the ID to see if they look young. They say, can I see your ID before they go into your establishment?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Anything? Mary?
No,
Ryan?
thank you.
So, question, did you put in any other applications for any other locations, like any other boroughs?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so just for the Bronx.
Just for the premises.
Do you own any other type of businesses, any kind of businesses?
Yes, I own 2 businesses. I own Malware Technology Support, does computer repair and consultation. I've owned that for 7 years, and I own Kingsbridge Transportation Group LLC. Aside from being a transportation company, I'm also involved in e-commerce for the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay. And
Business experience. It's good.
yeah, just what got, besides what you're saying, you don't have to go into details. What else brought you into wanting to reach out to the cannabis field?
It's an opportunity that wasn't afforded to people like me per se for many years. Everything was taboo in regards to marijuana, smoking it, possessing it. A lot of people went away for a long time for something that is now legal. Now when instead of all these big box corporations taking advantage of the situation, I would like to have a part or a play in my community and employ people with similar backgrounds as myself or from various backgrounds and show them that, you know, this, we turn the negative into a positive.
Okay. And one thing we like to ask is, if you do become part of our community, how would you give back to the community? Like, what can you do to support the community?
Well, any type of fundraisers, toy drives, anything that the community is involved with giving back to the people, my doors are more than wide open to help.
That's good.
Just to add on to that, the regulations do require that all cannabis businesses implement a community action plan. So that will have to occur at some point. Once they become
That was my next question.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's read the handbook and like members of the public have said it before. They were like, you guys are just asking questions that like are out of the handbook and out of the process. So when everybody comes in here, and I'm glad that you guys came prepared, but they know the answers to every question. Now, I do have one question though, right? So I'm gonna veer off from that. You were born and raised in the Bronx,
Yes.
right? You've seen, you know, over the years, the war on drugs in the Bronx and, you know, how we're dealing with poor air quality and basically the Bronx is always getting dumped on, right? So as somebody that was born and raised in the Bronx, why open up a dispensary here and not somewhere like in another community?
Well, that's a good question. I would say at the end of the day, the options for people in the Bronx to purchase marijuana legally, it's pretty much limited. They have to travel to certain places to obtain marijuana, where it's most likely the dangerous situation that they'd be getting into. So I would be able to provide a safer setting, a safer environment for them to come to and not either be, you know, have a higher prevention of something happening to them, or prevent them from using something or taking something from another place that might not even be like original cannabis. So I'd be doing a justice to the community by basically having the right quality to provide to the people.
I have two questions. I know you spoke about your background a little bit. Were you actually justice involved due to marijuana?
Excuse me?
Were you justice involved?
Justice involved?
Justice involved.
Justice involved meaning?
Had you been arrested from a marijuana
Yes.
charge? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I know that there was at one point it was a preferable to have been justice involved.
Yeah, so in regards to that, he did apply as a social equity applicant, and
Okay.
that the criteria is a minority-owned business as well as being from a community disproportionately impacted by cannabis.
Sure.
And
I
then
just
he
wanted
also
to detail.
met that
No
extra
problem.
priority criteria where he had a cannabis conviction and
Okay.
meets the income.
The second question that I have is, did you consider or apply for any other locations?
I have not.
Okay, so this is just one of them.
Yeah.
We've had several people that put in an application in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and here.
No,
Yeah.
no, I haven't.
So I have a question. What made you choose the particular site? How did you find it? What?
I have several friends that, well, one in particular used to actually have a studio across the street from there. He had a music studio across the street from there, and I was familiar with the neighborhood, and I know it's a lot of like auto places and glass and electrical supplies and stuff like that. But aside from that, it's like the location is decent. It's not too far from the train at Westchester Square. And it's not exactly on like the main avenue.
Mhm.
So, you know, you have to basically go around the corner and just walk a block up to a location that I feel is safe and is accessible. And I see they're opening, it's a big, mixed use project that's opening up right next to the space that I'm leasing. So it's pretty, that works in my favor because it'll bring a lot of foot traffic to the location.
Now, does that location have a parking
No,
a lot? Okay. Because they know there's a lot next to it, but I wasn't sure if that was connected to that location.
right, no.
Okay. And just one other question that I have. I know that you're not allowed to let people smoke in front of the location, but do you have a plan to basically make sure that doesn't happen?
Oh, sure, we'll enforce every rule that needs to be enforced. There's no smoking in front of our location. You have to take whatever you get and go about your business.
Okay. And what are your hours going to be? Because I know that that location could get pretty dark at night.
Yeah,
Secluded.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we're thinking more along the lines of 9:30 in the morning to possibly 10 in the evening.
Okay, because it's very dark there. Well, not very dark, but it is dark and it gets pretty secluded there. So,
But yeah, but like I just mentioned as well, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have we're gonna invest in decent lighting systems. And like I said, there's a big mixed use building literally right next to mine that's going up, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be full of security and full of it's gonna work out. It's gonna work
so
out.
it won't be as secluded
Right.
anymore once that's
No,
up and running.
Not at all,
It'll probably change the character of the.
Yeah, probably.
for sure.
And it's not a lot of foot traffic there either.
I mean, that area is commercial.
Yeah, that's
It's like
manufacturing
warehouse,
more-
there.
yeah.
It's more vehicles than
Yeah.
than
The daytime
traffic.
is busy, at nighttime it just.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But he's saying that 9:30 to 10 at night.
9:30.
Yeah. And to his point, he's saying that once that other location goes up, he's
There's a
expecting
building
it
going
to
up
be
there.
more,
Yeah.
there'll be more foot traffic and more activity there in the evenings. Okay. Does the committee have anything else?
And I just want to say that, based on all the licenses that we've been hearing, recently, right, since, let's say in the last 3 months, this is the first one that's in a manufacturing or commercial area away from residential area
Cool.
I
and away
like
from
that.
schools. And I think somebody said that there was a church a few blocks away or something, but,
No.
But I don't think that's within the.
right, it's not
It's
within
not, no.
the distance.
Just to add on that, we're Creative Balance Group is applying for a micro business license. So that's the one license in New York that's fully vertical. It allows you to cultivate, process, and do retail. So part of that facility be used as a cultivation facility. And the front of it be built out as the retail part. And that's part of the reason why it's in a commercial area as well.
It's very appropriate for commercial.
Sure.
area.
Yeah.
It would be probably a smaller space for the dispensary area, and then I think the plan is for the business to focus more on a delivery plan. Base service.
Okay, so they will be delivering out of that location. So they'll be shipping out of that location to other locations
Not to other locations, but to consumers.
to
So
consumers.
taking like online.
Oh,
orders.
I understand. Okay.
But there would be like 2 POS systems and so like 2 registers.
Okay.
Separate.
So you would have the location as a walk-in location and then an online business where you could deliver to people that order online.
It's
Sorry about that.
That's a great range.
It is great.
I believe there's a men's shelter that's going up in that area. Does anyone know where exactly it's located?
Then that building is going up there now, no?
Could it be that?
I think so.
Building that he's talking about?
I don't know.
It's the mixed-use building. That's gonna be a 200-bed men's shelter.
Yeah, yeah.
at 1400.
I don't know the address, but it's already in the process of being done. That mixed-use building is going to be a 200-bed men's homeless shelter.
I see.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue there.
So it's not exactly like a regular residential building.
Right.
So you'll have different people in different stages of life and financial, I guess. issues there, so you.
I don't
that's
think it'll be a
something to-
problem, because, there's, we're at on Westchester Avenue, Westchester near the McDonald's in Parkchester. There's a men's shelter that's been open there for like the past 2 or 3 years now. And, first the community was railing against it because it wasn't too far from the school and other businesses, but from what I've seen, there's been no problems over there whatsoever. And to me, that's more of a slightly higher crime area.
Mhm.
And so I don't think there'll be a problem over here in Blondell.
I'm gonna open it up to questions specifically directed from the gallery to this particular applicant. When I do, I'm going to ask that we're gonna time it for 2 minutes. And also, remember the code of conduct. If you are rude or negative in any way to our guests, we will mute you.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
if I can go from being in person, can I go?
sure, go
I'll
on.
tell you what, now, hold on, you ready?
One second
I
for
may-
Harry to get
may
ready.
need more than 2 minutes before
Well,
for a
I'm
separate
gonna-
purpose.
Well-
Maybe I'll come back later
Yeah,
after everybody else. Okay.
stick
It
to a
says
few minutes
good
from now.
unit C in the building. Are you familiar with what the building was?
Not exactly. I know I believe there was a music, I think there was a music studio in that building.
I'll let you know what it was. It was a porta sand. It was a porta potty place where they stored chemicals.
Oh, really?
And have you done an environmental study of the building? Because there may be chemical leakage that was there. They cleaned out the porta potties there and then washed down the sewer. So I would suggest you do an environmental study of the building. Now, you're a micro business, which means that you're gonna be producing, cultivating, processing, distributing, and other things, like you said, delivering. Now, are you gonna be taking credit cards online?
Credit cards?
Yes.
Most dispensaries don't take credit cards, they
No,
take debit card
yeah,
transactions.
yeah.
Okay. And will there be any on-site, on-premise smoking? We have a spot for on-site to be smoked.
No,
No? Okay, I'll come back later and I'll let the other people talk.
Okay. I believe Roxanne, you had your hand up first. Would you like to speak?
Yes, for the first item, purple cake, you will have to have an extension, ask for extension because the
Yes.
application is dated 11/14. So if you're going to table it, I doubt you, make sure you ask for extension because we want to happen what hush happened when you table it and we missed the deadline and now they're opening. So regarding creative balance group, I mean, the location is ideal. The applicant is the exact applicant that OCM, the law was created to help people who were victims or who were unjustly due to the war on drugs. And now they're trying to improve their lives. So I can't imagine this being a very good applicant, a very good location. So I'm 100% for this creative balance group. So and I'll wait for my turn for the 7-Eleven light dick, which is what I'm here for, okay?
Okay, thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Rox.
Thank you.
Phyllis, your turn?
Hi, and I agree, it is a perfect location for it. My only concern is the online aspect. How are you going to be able to verify that you're not selling to someone who's under 21?
there's a whole portion of the regulations that deals with online orders. There's verification processes online before you place an order, then as well, the delivery personnel have to verify using some sort of like software. Most dispensaries that are doing it right now, they use like iPads and they use the software, I believe it's called like Very ID. And they scan the ID before they dispense the product to any.
So they won't be able to leave the product without actually handing it to someone and checking their ID.
That they're 21. correct.
It's like the same process for if you have alcohol delivered with like a food order.
Oh,
Okay,
Pharmacy.
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, is there anybody else who has a question for?
Yes, I thought about something. So in regards to payment methods and things like that, I know that some places in other parts of the city had instituted a points system where people can buy the points and then they would use the points to redeem marijuana products in an effort to circumvent like the types of payment methods that can be accepted at these locations. Do you guys have a similar structure implemented?
As far as I'm aware, any point system goes against the regulations and we
Okay.
can fully comply with all regulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we,
Madam Chair?
is it okay with the committee if we have Mr. Press ask a couple more questions?
Yes.
By all means.
Okay.
Okay, since you're gonna be a nursery, how many plants will you be growing? And how many times a year will you be cultivating plants?
It isn't a nursery. Nursery license a little separate. It's a cultivation license. The micro business license that we applied for allows for 3,500 square feet of cultivation, flowering canopy. That's around 150 lights. And it takes about 3 to 4 months per cycle, so about 4 cycles a year.
And do you have any brand names for your product yet?
No, that's to be determined.
To be determined. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just for both sides, I represent the Merchants Association in the area, not your area, but nearby. And we know that this is growing. I also am head of a veterans organization. So what I want to say publicly too is in support of the cannabis businesses, but with some severe guidelines and borders. One, community relationship. Two, no cartoons. Nothing that applies to children. No colors of bright neon, and no names that will appeal to the kids. As a veteran and part of a veteran organization, I know the benefits that cannabis has done for veterans with PTSD, appetite disorder, and various anxiety disorders. So I'm in full support of the cannabis business, provided who runs it and runs it appropriately. So the background check, I would encourage, even as some come to the Allerton area, look more on the people that are carrying it, and if they're capable hands, and I'm not here to judge, we just met, but we would support the cannabis business, not saturate the neighborhoods with the cannabis store on every corner. One, it's not good for their business because now they're competing with each other. But two main questions, will you have armed security, possibly retired or off-duty police officers monitoring? How many security officers will you have on site? And you already said the lighting, which is great. And how are you going to monitor the THC level? Because that's more of the concerning issue. It's not the cannabis and hemp, for those that are in that don't know. It's the level of THC that's in the product that can be a problem, because otherwise it's just similar to an alcohol business. And if you have a liquor store near a school, it's kind of a double standard to not have a cannabis store near a school as well. So that has to be hashed out and figured out, because we could argue that alcohol is a lot more dangerous than cannabis when served properly. And that's monitoring those THC levels. So do you have guidelines for that? Do you have police officers that you're looking to hire? Will they be licensed armed guards on site? Because it's more for your safety than really the communities. And my experience with my friends in California, it's cleaned up entire blocks where gangs used to operate on that street, or cliques, I should say, not really gangs. They're not there anymore because of the revenue that you're bringing in to the community. The police seem to be more engaged in keeping that area and supporting you guys. So those are my standards. The applying to kids, any kind of animation or cartoon, any kind of cute little marketing, and that goes for 19 and 20-year-olds, 18, 19, because if I'm not mistaken, 21 is the legal age, correct?
Yes.
And I'll just leave it at that, but that was more for the board. And when going forward, when you're looking at these applications, the background check on the operator of the business is very important to us and the community, because we'll support a couple, but not every single block. So it has to be just like the liquor stores. On Allerton, we have 3 liquor stores, and they're spaced about 2 and 3 blocks apart from each other, not on top of each other. So if we can have a similar structure and guideline, and then again, the kids, your name is pretty professional. I've seen some names where it's getting a little ridiculous. It has to be professional. It has to come across, and not just for their own security. Am I over time?
Yes. Thank you.
I have a question.
No offense, but we have to time everybody.
I have a question though, about the THC levels. That's something I didn't think about. But I know that from the farms, it has to be tested. So will your product have to be tested as well? And will that include THC levels and other whatever parameters they?
I'm not sure if they could answer the questions. It's the same as Joe. asked.
Doesn't the state send somebody to test?
Yeah, if there's statutory guidelines.
Lead and all metals and all that stuff?
Yes.
And to Mrs. Francis's question about the security, do you have
I'm,
anything
uh,
in place at the moment, or?
I'm open to suggestions from the community at any time. I have no problem with off-duty or retired police officers being employed at my location. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I'm definitely open to that 100%.
Just to add on to that, we're still working out the security plan, but of course, we're gonna have the cultivation center there, and that's gonna be a major investment, so we're gonna be interested in protecting that, but,
An armed security.
in terms of like the retail, aspect of it and armed security, I've opened up a few dispensaries, like I opened up Smack Village on the East Village on 144 Bleecker Street, and they started with armed security, and currently they don't have any more armed security. One, because it's costly, and two, it just didn't really seem necessary because the way most dispensaries work is you'll have a vestibule with a secure door that requires a key card to get in, and someone will check ID before anyone even gets in. So before they even have access to the dispensary, their ID is scanned. So like you already have their identity. So it wouldn't really make sense for someone to rob a dispensary when it's set up that way. And then armed security is just like an added liability. But with the cultivation center, we're definitely probably gonna have.
You see, that's a little bit different than just a regular, yeah.
How many square feet of that 3,500 square feet is the cultivation center?
So it'd be 3,500.
So it'll be 3,500 square feet.
I don't know if Joel will plan on starting with 3,500 square feet just because of the cost of building it out, but that's the maximum allowable.
How many grow cycles are you expecting to have a year?
Four.
4 grow cycles?
You said every 3 months.
It's every 3 months. That's the full year supply.
So then you're gonna have about 875 plants in there, more or less?
No.
How many plants are you guys gonna have in there? Cause I'm trying to see, what is your expected annual yield out of that location? 1,300 pounds, 1,500 pounds?
That's really hard to say. Like, it depends on what genetics you're growing. It depends on the grower. It depends on a few different variables, but if you have 150 lights, you can typically get 3 to 5 plants per light.
And you said there's 150 lights, correct?
So it's almost,
I mean, that would be like maximum
50.
capacity for like 3,500 square feet. It'd be like 150 lights.
And do you have any idea of how do you want to use the full 3,500 when you begin, or are you looking to make it start smaller and then grow?
I start small and then scale.
Okay, so you at the starting point, if you get your license, your micro license, you don't plan on doing the full 3,500 right off the bat?
Not right off the bat, no.
Okay.
That's why I'm trying to do the math, because at one plant per about 4 square feet in that 3,500, you could have about 875 plants max. I'm just trying to see what kind of production we're gonna have out of our neighborhood. And, where is this stuff being sold at? Because if you're producing 1,300 pounds, you're doing some online stuff. Is it shipping out of New York, or are these 1,300 pounds per year are they gonna stay in the Bronx?
can you ship out of New York? Can you ship out?
No, absolutely not. You cannot deliver product outside New York, but you can deliver product anywhere within the state. And as you can also sell wholesale to other dispensaries as a
Oh, okay.
cultivation.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Okay.
All right.
If one dispensary runs low, you have, and you'll sell to that dispensary?
Yeah, or they just want to order product because they think we have a good product.
Okay.
The advantage is they're already doing the testing, so.
Right. All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Tiz, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wondered if they reached out to the 49th precinct to discuss security.
We have not, because again, we have just submitted the application. Essentially, it's a lottery process, so we don't even know if we're gonna get a license yet, but hopefully we'll know our queuing number in the next couple of weeks and we'll have a better idea, and then we can start to move forward and invest more resources into the
So
application.
when you get further along in the process, will you reach out to them?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Diana, do you have a question for this particular applicant?
Yes, I just had a quick question. How many people do you anticipate employing approximately?
5
Like
to
to
10.
start and also eventually?
5 to 10 to start.
Mhm.
On the dispensary side, and on the cultivating side, about 15 to 20.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So no other questions? Okay, thank you guys very much. We're going to review one other applicant and then we're going to make motions on your application. So if you can come right back here and then we'll let you know. And just so you know, our whatever motion we make here, it's a referral to our full board. Our full board meeting is on the 18th.
Yeah.
The 19th, on the 19th.
Next Thursday.
And that's where we'll make our final decision. The full board will. You're welcome to come. If you want to speak before the gallery, you're welcome to come speak before the gallery. You should sign up beforehand, but that's when we'll make our final decision.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Now, I know on the agenda, the 7-Eleven lighting is under old business, but I think we should discuss it now so we can hear from the gallery afterwards before we make a motion. So unless there's any objection from the committee, I want to move forward with that, if that's okay. So it's listed under old
No,
business,
no, that
but
part I understand.
yeah, so I just want to move it up because we tabled it at the full board meeting.
Are we looking to make a motion on it today also?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to be sensitive to time. because
Yeah,
I
that's-
have to leave at 8:15, so. we
That's
have
why I
a
want to
quorum.
bring it up now,
Okay.
so that way we can have a discussion on it. Now, because one of the partners in this particular application is also going to possibly opening up a location on Allerton and has been speaking with the Allerton merchants, which I am a part of. I am going to recuse myself from this. I'm going to hand it over to Joanne to take over for me for this particular one. Okay?
Okay, thank you, everybody. Yeah, we're going to discuss Leidig Supermarket on 7-Eleven Leidig Avenue, and we tabled it because there were some issues with the application that we saw and we also needed some extra information, which they were kind enough to give us on the date that, I think it was the following Monday.
Okay.
And, but then, a constituent, a community resident gave us some, information that we have more questions. So we want to deal with the questions now. One of them was, in the partnership agreement, it said that Mr. Tift has 20% ownership. However, on the OCM application, it says he has 100% ownership. So I don't know.
Before we go on, if the gentleman would like to come sit over here, so if you have any questions, we can address them to you. Thank you.
Discuss. Help me out. So that was one of the issues that was brought up. If you could help us out with that, explain that to us.
Yes, our accountant, he made a mistake, but it's pretty typical. when
Well,
you,
what's the mistake?
Put him 100%, because these guys were not in the picture. It was only him,
Oh, okay.
myself.
All right.
I'm the majority owner of
Okay.
that. I have the most experience. since I
Okay,
have
so
a
that will be
dispensary.
corrected on the.
That will be
application.
corrected when the
Okay.
time comes with the lottery. So
Okay, and another issue is that Hassan Obaid, one of the applicants states, who was the applicant state that he lived at 2125? Who was that? Remind me. Okay, also, Mr. Obaid also listed that he lives there. Are you related to Mr. Obaid? And he's the one.
So.
Yeah.
According to this, the owner of the property is 7-Eleven Associates, which is Hassan Amin Obaid. And you also said that.
Adam Hassan.
Adam Hassan. So are you related at all to Hassan Amin Obaid?
The Hassan Amin is the guy that's currently there.
Okay, and there's no relation?
No. We
Okay.
discussed this last time.
No, but he's listed that he lived at 2125.
No,
Kruger.
one of the
No.
applicants, which
Instead,
is this
okay.
gentleman here, said that he lived
Right.
at 21.
Yeah, that was in 2004.
I believe one of the questions was that and this could be correct, but the current property owner of 711 Leidig and 719 Leidig also is listed as living at 2125 Kruger Avenue. Do you have any relation to that person?
So in other words, the owner from the business lived in the same location he lived in?
That's what it's
Lived it, but
listed
he
as.
lived there in 2004.
I live in 2500.
So
Okay,
he-
so
yours was in 2004.
That was 2004.
Okay, so you don't live
Yeah,
there.
no, I live in 2025 by human.
And you have no relation to
No.
the other person. Okay, so that was something that came up that was brought up, so we just wanted clarification on that. And go ahead,
And the
Joanne, sorry to
other-
jump
I
in.
know, that's okay, no, please jump in, sure, jump in. There is still, an issue that if you are indeed related to the businesses that is there now, that is mystery. It's an unlicensed cannabis store and it's the same corporation name when it should be under a new corporation name.
On what corporation?
Okay, so,
Corporation and supermarkets is the new corporation that we applied with.
okay,
So what corporation are you
Okay.
suggesting? So we own that supermarket.
mhm,
That one, we own it.
okay.
Which we will have a DBA once we get the name, the brand.
Yeah, so basically,
It'll-
it's
it'll-
concerned that the property at 719 Leidig Avenue, that, from what reports, that is not a good participant with the community. There's been issues with that location, and there's concerns that there might be some connection between you guys and the 719 Leidig location. So if you
So
could,
there is no connections whatsoever.
Okay.
So we provided more than we're supposed to
right,
with notarized paperwork
Right,
from the landlord.
which we are
And
very
we showed
appreciative.
paperwork.
okay,
So we did that portion. That supermarket you're talking to, we own that. I and my partner own that 100% there, which we have a different DBA. He has a different corporation right now.
Which supermarket are you talking about? Just the name, the
The name.
7-Eleven supermarket?
Then once we get forward closer to,
That's gonna be
lottery
key.
and so on, we'll get a DBA to choose a new name.
Yeah.
oh, I
You
see.
can-
We haven't decided yet.
I just want, because when you say you own that supermarket, I just want to make sure that you're not talking about the 719.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's why it was
Okay.
For the
confusing
application,
for
that
a
was
lot
just
of
scary.
people,
Yeah,
okay.
you know.
but there is no relationship whatsoever. And once again, we're there to buy him out, close it up, and open something legit, which benefits the community, of course.
Which technically means they the bad guys who try to make it in the positive way, doing it the right way. If they saying that
Understand
shop
that.
is illegal, we're not here to make it illegal, we're trying to make it legal and take over the spot, basically.
Is there any other questions from the committee?
Edward, no?
I had one from
Okay.
last time that I forgot. What, so considering mystery is already there, and there's millions of things wrong with it, it can't be, like it's not,
Yeah, pretty terrible.
yeah, it's pretty
Full
awful.
name, so.
Yeah. So you guys are just gonna gut reno it again?
Yeah, remove the
Just
sign,
all,
close it
the
up.
whole thing?
Well, yes, we
What do you have a timeline for the build out?
As an OCM, build outs for me, it takes, because we have our own design company. that
Mhm.
do everything. For us, that's 2 months. As
Okay.
per manufacturing, shipping from China,
Mhm.
and then 1 month construction.
Okay.
So about
Okay.
3 months.
So it would just be, basically, if you get approved for that location, then it would just be 2 months
We will
before
gut
you're
the
able
whole
to
thing.
open.
Yeah, we will get the whole thing and start over.
It's gonna be a different store.
Yeah, well, yeah, they
Everything.
mentioned that last time, you're gonna redo the whole thing.
Smoke shop and dispensaries are totally different.
Yeah. No, it's,
Design, how it's set up inside, security and so on.
I think just because it was such a big problem.
Yeah.
That people are very suspicious. You have to.
Yeah,
to-
no, that's fine. That's
So
what
we
can
went
do.
out of our way
Yeah.
That's what we can do.
submit paperwork with notarized, just.
We understand the concern of the community, so.
You guys have been very good.
We
about
appreciate you being
your
forthright.
Yeah.
answering
Yeah.
And for coming back.
From the community, so we have to,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
it's my neighborhood too.
Mhm.
And whatever is gonna hurt the community is gonna hurt us as well, so.
So we do have one hand raised for the gallery, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna open it up to questions. Roxanne?
Yeah,
Oh,
hi,
yeah,
I-
we're gonna do two
Hi there.
minutes.
Yeah, but give me a few minutes because I was the one that sent you all the information. It's hard to get in 2 minutes, so a little courtesy, a few minutes, because this is a very serious issue. The
2
original
minutes.
owner of the furniture store, he actually took payment from people in the community for furniture, but when he closed down, the furniture was never delivered. I was told he's the same owner of Mystery now, doing business as Mystery. Now to confirm, he's saying it's an accountant error, but they actually, that's not like a typo or a miscalculation. That's a totally misfact. In the OCM, he puts Eric Tiff as 100% ownership, but in the unbinding agreement notarized, and you could get anything notarized. Notarized doesn't mean that it's a factual. Notarized means that the person signed the agreement, but the agreement itself says it's non-binding. In that non-binding agreement, it shows that person only holding 20%, and the Hazim Wealth Investment is the majority owner, and his business was incorporated in Florida, and it dissolved in September of 23, and I sent you the corporation paper as well. Lastly, I found it's just too many coincidences when he mentioned that he lived, I'm not saying he lives now, he lived in 2125 Kruger Avenue. He said that in the economic meeting, it's in your videotape, and that's the same address that the owner of 719 once lived. But he no longer lives there. He lives, I think, I forgot, somewhere in Westchester. And I just funny that they're the Lydex Supermarket is the name of the Lydex Supermarket incorporated July of 2023, doing business as Mystery, but yet their OCM application has Lydex Supermarket, which is not the business name, but it's actually the corporation which they do not own. It's owned by the person doing Mystery, doing business as Mystery. I would like you to be fair to this community and tell OCM that you cannot approve this application because you're not certain that these applicants are not have some involvement or affiliation with the previous applicants who've been running a illegal cannabis retail dispensary. There's too many misfacts. I just don't. It's just too many discrepancies. We have to be fair to this community, and I mean, I think let's be fair because unless you're certain, and like I said, anyone can notarize anything. It doesn't mean that it's factual.
Okay.
Thank you, Roxanne.
I think a lot of people on the committee are aware that notary is just a verification of a signature, not a factual, what's written on the paper, only of the person. So we do realize that, but, what she's saying about 7-Eleven supermarkets doing business as Mystery. Can you,
There's no connection between Mystery and that. How can
Okay.
you open a supermarket as Mystery? He has his own corporation. You go there, you ask him for the corporation, he has to be hanging on the wall legally. So you can go there and take a picture of it, no issue. There's no connection between that and that. Regarding her other concerns regarding percentage, very common in business. I have so many businesses that partnership changes. Maybe he has the money today, maybe tomorrow he doesn't have the money, so he has to take smaller percentage. I can add another partner, I can remove a partner. So it's very common. When the time comes, when OCM hands out all, then we have to determine then when we can give out, the percentage wise. Changes every time.
Okay. And you did say it was an error anyway in the
It was an error,
application.
it was just an error. It was supposed to be me and him only.
If there
But
is
they
an
can-
issue currently right now with this location, we're not here to continue that same error. We're here to change that error and fix it the legal and legitimate way. That's what we're trying to do. So we're not here to hurt, we're here to change to something better. That's what I've been saying since the
Right.
first meeting. And then it got held back and we're just waiting for this process. And we're here patiently.
Ed, I can't remember what the name of it is, but there was a disclosure
Oh,
for,
the true parties of interest disclosure.
so has that been filed with OCM yet, or
No,
that's still to be filed?
Still to be filed.
And when that's filed, you'll have a list of all the
Okay.
current partners on it.
So it's almost.
And there's 4 of you, right?
Yes.
And you would be the majority.
What can you tell me about Eric?
Eric, they know him more than I do.
Eric worked, well, we know Eric since he was a little kid, so he worked with us in multiple shops that we own here, restaurants and hotels. He's been hardworking with us. He's not trying to, he's trying to benefit, better himself. So as a form of support, we don't want something to affect the guy. We want something to benefit the guy. So we're here to help somebody.
Also, he's a trustworthy person. So
Trustworthy.
we've been with us for a lot of years.
He came.
He do managements and stuff like that, all the money, all the stuff. We never see nothing bad from him. So that's a person that you need in your team that you could trust. And, you know, you build yourself with him, you know, as partnership and stuff like that.
Someone who's reliable and trustworthy.
Is it the first time that he'll be a partner in any of your business?
Yes, but he's been running our businesses most of the time.
Okay.
But I had all experience, of course.
I mean, he's just a hand help. You understand? He was hand helping us. That's what it is.
So again, just to recap, you were born and raised in the Bronx. You guys
In the Pelham area.
have some roots in the Bronx as well.
I was born, raised in the Bronx, Pelham area.
Grew up in Harlem.
Grew up in Kruger. And then I'm still currently living in Pelham Parkway area.
You know, the area where you guys are, you know, you guys have been here a few times already.
Yeah.
And we've had great conversations. You guys have been very
Mhm.
open with us. But since then, you know, and I can only speak for myself, I've had the opportunity to listen to a lot of members of the community and things like that. So I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked the other organization. Being people that have roots in the Bronx, why are you opening up this dispensary, especially yours in such a residential area and not somewhere else?
Well, the area has heavy foot traffic. It's a prime area. Again, my roots come back to that area. I lived here, I lived there. Something that I want to come back and give back to this community where I grew up in. Something where I want to change what's going on in this community. Again, opening up that dispensary will permanently shut down everything around it. Anything that's illegal will be closed. Sheriff Office, OCM will work hard on that matter. It'll work more vigilantly in it. It's gonna work harder and it'll change what's going on in that area. So it's something that I feel like we will benefit the community. Instead of having something illegal, it'll be illegal. And it's something that I want to give back and work with this community. So
Okay.
It'll close down the three. other
it'll
ones.
close down the other
Right
ones.
there.
that
We won't have people on the street
Yes.
selling weed
So-
on the sidewalks.
Something
You know,
in
seeing it
something in
outside.
somebody's hand that's somebody trustworthy rather than somebody that's not trustworthy. That's what I'm.
Well,
I just want to say, Lyda Supermarket was incorporated on July when Mystery opened, not in October when they made an offer to buy the business. Just look at the date itself. Thank you.
We've been in talk for almost 8 months with the.
Since it was a
location.
furniture store.
It used to be a furniture store.
Mhm.
You would not finally convince them to, but with these laws and regulations coming down on smoke shops. So we convinced them to pull it out. I'm paying a very hefty, price just for
so there is a relationship that what.
Communication's about business.
communication.
Yeah, but no, I mean, there's not a relationship like that, but I mean, that would explain the dates.
Yeah,
Of course.
we've been trying to get the location.
And we also knew the OCM was recently, there was talks about it with OCM recently opening up the applications for retail dispensary. So
We've
we
been
like to
trying
be
to-
a step ahead before we just wait till the last minute and do it. That's not what we want to do. We always want to be a step ahead beforehand.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that have any other questions?
Any other questions?
Okay.
Any other, okay, from.
Just in the interest of time, because one of our committee members needs to leave and we want to make sure we get the motions done. If there's nothing else for these particular applicants, liquor license applicants or cannabis applicants, we're gonna go ahead with the motions now. And then we can open up the gallery for other business. So just because we want to make sure these motions actually get acted on tonight, okay?
So we would call for a motion. You want to do 7-Eleven first, do you think? Or
Since
do
they're right
the-
here.
Yeah, okay. All right, so can I call for a motion? Would you like to make the motion? No?
I can do it.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to send a letter of no objection regarding Letty Supermarket Inc. at 711 Leidig Avenue.
I second
I
that.
second. it.
Okay, so it's seconded by Mary.
And just for full disclosure, we missed the deadline to get the extension, but we're still sending in the letter so they know how the community board feels. Okay?
Thank you.
As well, as long as it passes the full board, 'cause we still have to go by the full
Yeah.
board on the 19th. But as long as it passes
Okay.
the full board, we're still gonna
So-
send a letter even though
Yeah.
unfortunately we missed the extension.
So is there, I think we've discussed this, so I think we can call for, how the committee feels. And the committee on, is online.
It's Edgar, so you
It's
can
Ed-
just ask
yeah.
if there's any objection.
Any objections?
I object.
You object, okay. Well, one objection,
Abstentions?
any abstentions? And the motion passes with one objection. Okay, motion passes, all right.
Thank you, gentlemen. And like we said before, we're gonna have it at the full board. You're welcome to come if you like. It's
Sure,
at-
full board meeting.
It's gonna be at Einstein, at,
The hospital?
yeah, at hospital in Moving Wall.
Yeah, I know the one.
Stay the 19th.
Yeah.
North Park, yeah.
No, it's a college, it's a college.
The College of Einstein, right next to
It's
Montecito.
technically on Lawrence
Manchester?
Park and,
Newport.
Newport.
But if you go, when you turn into Newport, you make it
I'll
right
make
up
it
to
very easy for you. 1213 Van Ness. Put 1213 Van Ness. and right
That makes my
across-
life.
right across the street. You see the parking lot across the street from Van Ness? 1213.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna.
This one's closed. It's closed. Oh, okay.
1213 Van Ness.
Come, you can do that, it's up to you.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is Creative Balance Group at 1402 Blondell Avenue. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to send a letter of no objection.
Me too, second.
Seconded, okay, so we got a motion of no objection by Ed, seconded by Harry. Do we have any discussion? Okay, any objections? Any abstentions? Okay, great, motion passes unanimously.
Perfect location.
Thank you so much. Miguel,
Thank you.
again, you can come to the full board meeting. This is just a referral. We're gonna refer this to the full board and we will vote on the final decision at the full board on the 19th. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay, so then we have the.
So let's do the liquor license.
Oh, wait.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
Purple
liquor-
Cake,
Purple Cake, the table, so do we have
Yeah.
to discuss it? No.
well, we
Make
should
a motion
make a
to
motion
table.
to
With the
table.
extension though, right? Or are
We need
gonna-
to extend it first, yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna bring this up in new business,
Oh.
but really quickly, because Mary's gonna be.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, really quickly. Jeremy, I wasn't able to go to that OCM thing that was done by the Bronx Borough President because I was unfortunately working during the day and it was hard for me to go. But Jeremy did bring to my attention that a lot of other community boards are automatically requesting an extension when they get an application in. And I feel that that's probably something that the committee should do. Automatically, just ask for an extension, whether or not we need it. Just we get an application in, we automatically send out a request for an extension.
Absolutely.
So if the committee's good with that, I'm gonna discuss it with the staff to see, Chris, you're still on, right?
Yes, I am.
So can we put in place that whenever we get a cannabis license, that we automatically send out a 30-day extension
No problem.
request?
No problem.
Okay, so we'll put together a letter, because we have to put out a letter tomorrow for Purple Cake. So we'll send that extension letter, and then we'll just have a formatted letters, something like what you guys have seen already. And that's what we'll send out as soon as we get the application in. It automatically requests an extension, just so we don't miss any deadlines on these.
Yeah,
Because
let's make it,
OCM,
let's make a quick kind of one paragraph kind of a letter or email, because that's what usually I do. And
Yes,
we
that's
we send it to a specific municipalities.org, something like that. Dot,
Yeah.
at NYC, OCM, something like that. And of course, in the subject is gonna put extension for 30 days from Community Board 11. Then we'll put the body. The body is gonna be the same for all of them. That would
Right.
extend for 30 days, so at least we can have more time as a community board to look into details. Something like that, simple.
yeah, so that'll just give us that little bit of breathing space, whether we need it or not. Sometimes we don't know until the meeting and it's like right there.
Yep.
You know, so that'll help us. So I'll work with you on that tomorrow. We'll get this. So the motion, I guess, would be to table the Purple Cake and request a 30-day extension. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Joanne seconds. Any discussion?
No.
Any objections?
And another thing, I mean, the gentleman confirmed that he's supposed to come. I'm surprised he didn't come.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't come, so we are gonna table it because we can't ask him questions. But, okay, any abstentions? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Now quickly to the liquor licenses. So, for Misto Bar and Grill located at 2314 East Chester Road, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion. Letter of
Second.
no objection.
Okay. Seconded by Harry. Okay, so the motion is to send a letter of no objections to the State Liquor Authority. Do we have any discussion? Any objections? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes unanimously. And the last one, I think we're up to the last one, right?
Last one
Okay.
is,
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo's.
So Michelangelo's Wood-Fired Pizza and Pasta located at 2107, 2109 Williamsbridge Road. Can I get a motion on that?
I will make a motion to send a letter of no objection to Michelangelo's, or for Michelangelo's Wood-Fired Pizza and Pasta at 2107, 2109 Williamsbridge Road,
Okay.
formerly known as Bridge.
Bridge. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Joanne. Discussion? Objections? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes.
Who
Thank you,
seconded
Mary.
Mary's motion?
Harry. Yeah. Mary, thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun tonight.
Oh, 3 minutes.
Fun.
Okay. Now, now that we did that, we're gonna open it up for the gallery. So does anyone, Jean? Are we gonna go by the 2 minutes only because it's late? So
Sure.
Harry, would you mind timing, please?
And
You got a
questions?
little extra.
Let me know when I could start. Actually, I'm gonna start now before you start the clock. So I wanted to, some of you may have seen, last month, it was in the local newspaper. We're having an issue with our vendors, and Chris, correct me or stop me, Madam Chair, if, economic development, it's not in the purview of vendors, but I feel like it does affect the economic, development in the community. So, we have a fruit vendor that's been operating under the de Blasio administration for the past 12, 13 years. We have a very large double standard going on with our local fruit vendors and these food pantries. They're not going under the same guideline where the concern is via the health department discussing that the fruit vendors may not be as safe. They're offering affordable food and they can't compete with the brick and mortar. The food pantries offer free food, don't have the same regulations as a brick and mortar, whereas the fruit vendors are just offering affordable fruits and vegetables. So in satisfaction of the city regulations, and we've been talking with the community board about it, what we suggested to get the fruit vendor that's deep rooted in the community because they've been over there for over a decade, we wanted to apply for a plaza permit. Now it falls in the purview of the size, and we've had these bump outs at our local bus stops that are basically just dead space. So what we wanted to do is on the southeast side, a fruit and vegetable stand, and on the northwest side, a book stand. These would be suited with plantation, so we could have trees to border this small plaza area and seating areas for the spring and summertime where residents coming home can just sit, have a coffee, read a book. And what the plaza permit ultimately does, it puts liability on the Merchants Association to keep that area clean, safe, and orderly.
Oh.
And if there's any questions regarding, I'm happy to answer.
So what is your ask of the community board?
Plaza permit, approval for a plaza permit for the Allerton International Merchants Association.
Would it be under parks?
No,
That's
'cause it's-
DOT.
Yeah,
It's under DOT.
so you're asking for a letter of support
Yeah.
from the community board?
Or at least exploratory. We've been asking for the full content, information, because we know there's a fee, an annual fee that goes with maintaining these plaza permits that we would pay for. And then there would be requirements about us maintaining the area so vendors aren't piled on top of each other. It's more structured. There's any garbage that's in that area, we would be liable for cleaning it up. And any health risk or accidents, we would be liable for that as well.
Has the Merchants Association already put together a plan on how to accomplish that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some rough diagrams as to what it would look like, sketched out. It would be a small kiosk at the lower end of the plaza, bordered by the planters, tree planters, small bushes. Inside, you'll have a few tables. We could actually extend that at our purview. Other vendors, other professional objects or tables And then 3 or 4 tables and chairs that we would be liable for, put them in the kiosk, close them up at the end of day. And more lighting. We could provide more lighting. And this is a bus stop. It would be away from the actual standing zone, or the people waiting for the bus can sit in the chairs. And it's away from the subway entrance, about 10-15 feet.
That's a dead spot now?
It's basically dead, because what happened was when the bus stopped there, we used to have the stanchions and then street. So it would be street, stanchion, street, sidewalk. What the city did was they put sidewalk all the way up to the stanchion because the buses weren't cutting in between the stanchions. So they bumped out the sidewalks. Now you have all that space where we've had about 10 to 12 vendors literally at that location on top of each other. It's created a stressful situation. And on top of that, we've had recently what caused a lot of the problems. We had a gentleman who was dumpster diving. Now, it was a misconception that he was homeless. He actually lives in Co-op City. I had a great conversation with him. He's a great man, but the operation was a disaster and a mess and causing a lot of problems, to where he had the junk all throughout the sidewalk on the northwest side, spreading out, and it just looked horrendous. And the city wasn't doing anything because he claimed to be homeless. And they said we can't take his stuff. So after conversations, that was cleaned up. He came back, cleaned up again. He came back with the plaza permit. This is now our area where we can say, hey, look, we can't have tents. We can't have this. We can't have that. And the specific idea is book stand, fruits and vegetables, or farmer's market, whichever you want to call it. And so the fruits and vegetables will fall under specific guidelines.
Everyday thing, every day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, even the winter. Our fruits and vegetable stand has been operating for 12 years. We know him well. At the first year, we told him he had to leave. The city said he could stay, so he stayed. And then he got to know everybody in the neighborhood. He became a great part of our community. He's actually a lookout for our community, if I'm going to be honest. I don't like really saying that in public, but given the situation now, he sees everything that's on that corner. The men and women that he hire or volunteer with him are from the neighborhood. They know everybody. It is our residents have stated many times that they feel safer coming out, seeing him there, and those people operating, especially now at the wintertime where it's 5 o'clock, it's dark out. They're just coming home. They see Victor Ness and they say, we know we're safe on that corner. And it is what it is. We've been asking to get permits because in our opinion, he's grandfathered in. If he wasn't there for 10, 15 years, then we'd say, listen, he's got to follow everybody's rules. But because of the previous administration, allowing him to grow and build relationships and become a trusted community partner, it really is difficult to say, hey, get lost, because he's been for the community a long time and we gotta stand with him. So I feel the best compromise is this plaza permit. So everybody's happy, everybody's satisfied. It's all on the books and registered.
And they're legit, they're all legit.
Yeah.
So we can't unfortunately make a motion now because we no longer have a quorum, but we can bring this up at leadership tomorrow. If you want to come back in case people have questions about it at the leadership meeting, we can bring this up at leadership tomorrow. Maybe we can make a motion there. Okay, but I will let Chris know too. At this.
Can I suggest something, Gene? Can you send me via email this, if you have the project or the summary of what exactly you're looking for? Preferably with kind of the schematics of how it's going to look, if you can do that.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'll send it to everybody so everybody can be prepared. And if they have questions, they can ask questions I have.
Yeah, Gene will get that to you tonight, but apparently I will be recusing myself from any votes on this. But yeah, we'll make sure we get it to you.
Okay.
For a letter of support?
Yes, so a letter of support for a plaza permit for the Alton Merchants Association.
You guys try to get a
International
permit
Merchants
again
Association.
before?
No.
Is that similar to a cafe? I mean,
It's similar to an outdoor cafe,
outdoor cafe. Okay.
but it has different regulations and guidelines. Yeah.
Of course, most certainly. Yeah, just send me that summary, and then if necessary, I'll send it to everybody so they can look into it. If they have the questions, they can ask the questions that they need.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
I just have one question for this committee.
Sure.
It's going to be in about a minute. What would this committee do if they did not get liquor licenses and now cannabis applications, which some community boards have other committees that hear said items. So what would this committee do if they didn't hear said items? Because in the past several years,
That's
that's
basically
all
what
this
we've
committee's
done.
been doing.
Right, and I actually agree with that, and I have been looking into what else this committee could do. The problem is with our committee meetings, a lot of the time is just discussing these applications. We don't have, as you can see, it's already 8:21, we don't have much time to discuss other things, but I would like the committee to start expanding into other things, and if you have suggestions,
Well,
that would help.
White Plains Road bid would be something that this committee should really investigate.
Yes,
And,
should.
you know,
Absolutely.
other
are they
committees,
even having meetings anymore?
I have other
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
economic development committees, go for street furniture, they talk to bids and merchants associations. So, that's just, what I'm trying to say is this committee needs to expand into talking to the merchants and seeing what the merchants themselves need.
I want to echo what Bob said, and he's absolutely right. And I say us as a committee, even though I'm a new member, but we've been treating this Economic Development Committee as an interrogation room versus focusing on economic development. I know that we have time constraints, but we really should look into that name of our committee, economic development, and see if maybe there's something that we could do to streamline more our meetings so that we could actually have time to focus on economic development. I met just 2 days ago with the Dominican American Chamber of Commerce. I've met with the Bodega Association, and these associations, these merchants associations, even we have one right here. We have merchants associations and trade associations, and we're ignoring them in reference to licenses. Not that we're purposely ignoring them, but we should really pay attention to what Bob just said and really circle
To
back.
be fair, Joe Thompson, who used to be the chair of this committee, was very, he did push, reaching out to bids and to reaching out to the merchants associations. And we did, in the beginning, we were trying to do that, and he was the chair
that's
before
nice.
me. It's just, again, the time constraints with the applications, but we do need to, and it's something that I've discussed with other people too. I want the committee to expand more, not just to be about licensing. It's hard, because like I said, the time constraints, but we do need to figure out a way to be able to
They need help.
add some other stuff. to that. So, yeah, if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm open to any and all suggestions, but I would like to start having some.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Veronica, I'm sorry to interrupt. Isn't that the committee of City of Yes gonna do the same thing almost?
For the city of yes, but not for economic development. This is not an interrogation room. When do we focus on economic development here? What are we doing?
What I'm
Other
talking
than
about is,
interrogating
you're talking
businesses?
economic development, isn't that the committee for the City of Yes gonna do that thing?
That's two different things, two completely different things, sir.
Isn't about development of the corridors?
The city of, okay, so the city of yes is a 3-part initiative by the mayor's office that yes, does focus on buildings. It does focus on economic development,
Right.
focuses on climate, focuses on housing opportunity. But that's a committee for the city of yes. We're talking about economic development, Chris.
Right.
So what you tell me then? I mean, I'm a new member, so you tell me, what is the committee
The
for
historical
economic
thing
development
has been-
responsible for?
The historical thing has been always about the merchants. I mean, Merchant Association, they're more than welcome to come. We have called them, they have attended whenever they have any information, they have attended whenever they have any activities. It's not that it's just an interrogation committee. It's open doors for all of them, but if they're still ignoring, even the elected officials have been ignored from these bids historically.
I don't know. I think that it begs a bigger, a much more expanded conversation on what defines this committee.
No, but what exactly do you think will define this committee? I'm just curious.
No, I'm asking you. I'm the new member. You brought it
waiting
up.
to speak. I'm
Tell
sorry.
me.
Hi, Veronica. Yeah,
Yeah, hold on one second. So, okay. So that's something that we will revisit and we will talk more about it. We could talk offline about it,
Yeah. Thank you.
And any suggestions, we could get together. Anybody has suggestions on the committee on how we could do that? I'd like to invite more of the merchant associations and more of the bids to come to our committee and let us know what we can do for them, what they need. So
Similar
that's
to
something
what
that I'm
happened-
gonna.
Just happened with.
Yeah,
you.
so the only obstacle I see is getting all the contact information. But I'll see if I can work with getting as many contacts I can for that.
Just from just from looking, I know that there've been several times that they have been invited and have no interest.
Some of them have, yeah, there have been many that have been invited, because like I said before, Joe was big on getting out there, and he did invite people here and they didn't show, but it doesn't mean that we can't try again.
Used to be the head of the bid in White Plains. So. he has-
Okay, so going
It's beautiful
to,
lights up now.
going to the hands that are raised up,
Roxanne, first.
Roxanne?
I
Well,
thought.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on
Oh,
one
sorry.
second. We have a board member that has their hand up, so I'm sorry, Roxanne, just give us 2 minutes and I'll get to you. Cynthia, go ahead.
I'll be very brief. To answer Ed's question, I know that Malcolm has been in contact several times with the president of the White Plains Road bid. Unsuccessfully, they've scheduled meetings and they just haven't panned out. So perhaps, Ed, maybe you'll have better luck. Reach out to Malcolm, see if maybe you can get through to him. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, Roxanne, thank you for your patience. You're up.
Yeah, I just like to say, I think there's personal animosity towards me because I send you a corporation that they incorporate on July, Leidig Supermarket, the same day that Mystery opened doing business. It's not, obviously it's the same players. And secondly, I was the one that first suggested months ago that you guys should get automatic extensions since you constantly miss the deadlines. And lastly, I don't think the motion passed because you have, for my website, you have 11 committee members. Since you recused yourself and one abstained, that means only 5 people voted. You need at least 6, the majority, to pass a motion. So the motion
Edgar
for
is
the.
on our committee. Edgar is on our committee.
I can't hear you. What?
Edgar is on our committee. He's on WebEx.
I know that.
And he was able to vote.
No, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
We had a quorum in person,
Yeah, I know that.
and Edgar is on our committee. He's on WebEx. He was part of the vote.
No, but only 5 voted. 1 recused with yourself and 1 abstained. So that means it didn't pass the motion since only 5 voted. You need 6 majority to pass a motion. Since you have 11 members.
We had 6 here.
We had 6 in person, and we have Edgar online. That's 7. I
Eric,
recused
Mary,
myself, and we had 6
me,
people
him.
to vote.
No, 1 abstained.
No, she's confused. You have to have 6 people in person.
No,
to
who
have the
abstained?
vote.
Someone abstained. I remember I heard someone abstain and 1 recuse. Am I correct there?
No, there was only 1 recusal
One
and
recusal.
1 objection. There was,
No
Okay, so
abstain.
so there was 1 objection and 1 recusal, so only 5 voted in favor.
Check.
They need
No.
a 6.
the objection is a vote, Roxanne.
No,
His vote
you-
was to object.
Abstain.
no, in order to
He did
pass
not
a
abstain.
motion, the majority have to vote in favor of that motion. Only 5 did, that's less than the majority.
Yeah, but the majority that are present in the meeting, Roxanne, not the majority of the
No,
entire.
we already
meeting.
had that meeting. The open meeting law requires the majority of the members. So there's 11 committee members, not only the ones
The
that are
members present in the meeting, my
No,
friend.
Bernadette was right when she did the open meeting law that she already
Oh.
conversed with the
Oh,
BP's office.
Bernadette was
I'll follow
mistaken.
up with the BP's office anyhow because
Bernadette is
you have,
mistaken.
please,
We have
please
the-
don't
we
interrupt me.
have the-
Please,
the-
please don't
the
interrupt me.
precedent. Thank you. Thank
Can
you.
you, a constant interruption, when that's something, I'm just gonna make one more time. You have to have put open the majority of the number of members of that committee, not the ones that are present. You have to have a certain number to have a quorum. But I'll send that per email, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roxanne. Okay, Efren?
Hello, I wanted to speak about the proposed cannabis on 1927 Williamsbridge Road and also 711 Leidig and also the one on Blondell. It seems like the board doesn't really get the information long enough to assess the situation. And so it is troublesome. Also, the one on Williamsbridge Road is as along with the one on Leidig is it's in a residential community. That's going to cause a lot of problems. It's not something that we need. Someone like myself who smokes at a cigar lounge, but to have cannabis there, and there's a school nearby, it's really troublesome. So I hope that the board can discuss this and then send a letter to the OCM so that they can. I think they need to go back and change and give the boards a little bit more time to assess. It can't just be rushed down. I don't think that it's beneficial. The other thing I want to just piggyback with Gene DeFrancis said, I want to make sure that veterans, okay, including disabled veterans, get permits to operate in the board, let alone the city as a whole. So it is something that I want to see get done. I like to see that plaza permit get passed, and I want the board to have discussions on why veterans and if the city can explain are not getting the permits that they need. And lastly, in terms of economic development, yeah, it has to create economic development. There is a licensing process that it goes. I think that that's something where maybe another committee can be convened so that they can discuss that going forward, because I think going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
But in answer to your first part of the question, we discussed earlier, I know you got into the meeting a little late, but we've discussed earlier as a committee that going forward, whenever we get a cannabis license in, we're automatically going to be sending out a request for a 30-day extension, because sometimes, as you said, we don't get enough time to be able to look into these. So even if we don't need it by the time we actually get to review it, at least we've already put out the request for it just in case. So that's something that we're going to be doing going forward.
We got a guest.
Okay. Before I go to the guest, I'm not sure who that is. Christine, you had your hand up for a moment. Did you want to speak?
I did. Thank you, Veronica. I know it was just to, I sort of just reaffirm what Cynthia already said. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. So guest, you have your hand up. Can you please introduce yourself and then you can address the committee?
Yes, hi guys. I don't know if you can see me. Sorry, I'm on my phone. My name is Camelia Tetelus. Hello, hello. Yes. I'm the executive director for the Morris Park Bid. Just wanted to begin with to congratulate you for the very structured and proper way this meeting has been conducted. The only reason I'm interrupting, guys, is just to say I don't know who was the gentleman speaking before, referring to how to say the way CB11 sees economic development. Personally, and on behalf of the bid, I think he's on track as far as making a more concerted effort in reaching out to the business organization, right? To the business organizations in the district, be them associations, bids, informal business leaders. I think it's very important for our business organizations throughout the district to actually be aware of the existence of CB11 economic development and feel that they have that level of support. And one thing it was raised something about the presence of electeds in bids. In my bid board and in all bids by law, we have electeds at 4 levels. The mayor through SBS, Small Business Services, Controller's Office, Bronx Borough President Office, and council members. So I have 4 electeds by law, and they are, at least in my board, they are very active, but all bids have this. So just because I felt like I heard like somebody saying they are not active, I don't know about others, but they are active in mine. You do have, we often get, as Morris Park bid, inquiries about White Plains Road bid. So frankly, any sort of outreach and like investigation there, I think it's helpful for everybody to have any organization that exists and and uses money to be accountable. And also one final things, I must also be very candid and honest with you guys. While our relationship with the district manager has always been of CB11 with Jeremy has been extremely collaborative, my experience as a bid in interacting with CB11 as a board has been bumpy. I had a lot of conversations with Bernard, especially during COVID times, where we felt like there was no support for local merchants from CB11 in terms of us organizing events, reaching out, etc., etc. There are large-scale events organized or co-organized by people acting in CB11 in their affiliations with other organizations, which I will not name, that have been problematic with no permits, leaving Morris Park Avenue in not exactly an ideal conditions after the event. And how to say, we expect from you guys leadership. We expect from you as board members to follow rules and to be, how to say, like stewards of the community and put out there positive things. And just to say again, with all these things that are happening out there, you know, at CB11 overall, I mean, the whole racial aspects, like all these things are there being associated with Morris Park. So we do beg for all of you to be constructive, positive, like truly to build community around our local businesses. Because I think we are all working together kind of for the same reason at the end of the day, to build healthy, prosperous, like communities, you know, for everybody's well-being. So just wanted to say this, and once again, thank you for allowing me to speak here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Veronica, this says the motion must be carried by a majority vote of the total membership of the public body. This is on open meeting law, which I'll email to you in 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you, Roxanne.
So that means that motion hasn't passed if you read the open meetings law. Now let's go by the
Okay.
rules. Thank you
We'll
so
review
much.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Camilla, thank you so much for joining us today.
That's it.
And we really appreciate it. And you are always welcome to come in and join us at one of our economic development meetings. If you'd like to join us in January or February, you let us know what your availability is. We'd love to have you here.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Okay, so wait. I know. Okay, so I think that's all for the gallery session, correct? Okay, so do we have any old business? No old business? Any new business? I already spoke about new business earlier, but anybody else? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
A second.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, Harry.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So the time is now 8:39. The meeting has ended. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate everyone who attends both online and in person. Have a great night. And for those of you who we will not be seeing at the full board meeting, have a happy and healthy Christmas, New Year, and Hanukkah, and every other holiday. Thank you so much again. Good night.